Sometimes I do get the question, how is it that you download files from your own machine, hosting them from your own machine, uploading files and so on? What do you do? Like, okay, so there's not really any secrets to it, but in Python, you can basically run your own web server like that. So when you run your own web server like that, it basically means that you can go to my IP address on this machine on the port that I specified, which is 9000 in this particular case, and then slash whatever file I have. So let's just quit that and say, where am I actually standing? I'm standing in home Kali. So if I create a folder, let's say I call it mkdir, and we call this HTTP test, and I went for HTTP test, just like that. And inside this folder we have nothing. I'm going to touch a file and we clear the screen. I'm going to touch a file. I'm going to call this index.whatever text. And inside that file, I'm going to nano to it. I'm going to write hello from me. Now the thing is, you're going to take this file right here and I'm going to start a web server on it. So you can go ahead and say Python 3. I'm going to serve that file. So whenever I went to this, go to this address right there, this is going to be the basic web server running HTTP. So I can go to any web browser, basically type localhost 9000, and I'm going to see this directory listing on the index file, and I can say hello from me. Now in the situation where you're going to use this to download files on the server, so you need to host something, let's say like a LinPiece, or you have initial foothold on a server, I need to download this to the server. Well, basically you need to find out the IP address of my machine first of all. So you can go ahead and start a new tab, for example, write IP tag A, and check out, you got the F0, it's going to be this IP address right there. I also have the ton0 IP address because I am connected to the official TryHackMe OpenVPN network. So you could take this IP address and say, could I put this in right there and say 9000 and host it? Well, yeah, that would be one way of doing it. So depending on how you're going to do this, if you were on the TryHackMe OpenVPN network and you could go ahead and download this file, it would be the same to host 9000. So the same IP address going to point to my web server. Basically meaning that this is my local IP address, and all my different kind of loopback address, which is always pointing to my own network card, or the F0, which is the bridged network on my virtual machine that have actual internet access to the internet, and this is the one that you're gonna virtualize through OpenVPN. It's gonna give me this IP address on the TryHackMe OpenVPN servers. So let's play with the thought right now that we have an initial foothold. And as you can see, I already accessed my own web server a few times by using the get request, which is what the browser originally just creates for me. And you can see that it serves these kind of files, file not found, I don't know what that was, but. So, what we're gonna do now is the test for having initial foothold. So I'm gonna clear the screen. Well, let's play with the thought that we are on a machine. I want to download this file. So what we're going to do is write the command of wget, for example, and say my IP address on this machine. Let's say it's my TryHackMe machine. Doesn't really matter, what kind of IP address you type, as long as something you have on your own network interface machine. It's an IP address of your network interface or machine. So write that and the index.text. So basically going to say use the HTTP protocol, access the IP address. This is me. We do not have to have a domain name, so use port 9000, which was the one we served with initially, and refresh. We'll ask for the file index.text, press enter, and you're gonna download it. And then you can say index.text, and you can see we have it right there on the machine. That is really the way we're gonna do it when you download a file. So wget command is one way for you to download files. Wget is getting anything from the internet from a URL. You can use that for any particular download. You can go to the internet and find any file, and download it. Use wget, get it to your own location where you're standing on pwd. Gonna see this, you're gonna be your home, your Kali. So /index.php is gonna be the original now location for index.txt. So another question people sometimes ask is, when they have an initial foothold, where should they download the file to? Well, there are different kind of places. I would say definitely go ahead and go to temp file. Temp folder, sorry, is going to be probably not that privileged, so it's going to be easier for you to download files directly to it. You can also go to the shim directory. I know I have that one, so anyways, that's also one way for you to do it. It's shim, not smh. I don't know why I typed that anyways. So that's also going to be one way for you to download files, but the most typical location is download to the temp location, because the temporary location is something that it doesn't really matter too much. If it's privileged highly enough, it's going to be difficult for you to download files. It's going to find a place where you have actual permissions to write and execute files, and that is most occasion in the temp library. So that's really it. Set up a Python server on your own machine or from your attack machine, and then access that by wget, download the file, and that's it. It's gonna be the same way reversed. So sometimes the roles are reversed. So let's assume for now that you are standing on the machine with initial foothold, and you have this file called index.txt that you want to download to your own machine. Now, there are different ways for you to do it depending on the length of the file. You can always just cat it out like that, and say, oh, that's little, so this is gonna be some hash, I'm just gonna copy paste it. Easy peasy, okay? If it's a long file, a lot of text, you could try and output to the screen using the cat command, and then just copy paste it, right click, copy, and do it like that. If it's too much, really a lot, you kind of rely on some way of hosting that, serving that in a way. You can also try the secure copy command. You can try to put it in the FTP server. There are different ways for you to do it, but initially you would need some way to put it on a socket, a network connection, in order for you to download to the attacking machine. Originally, you can of course try to execute a Python web server if there is one. You can also try and download something like standalone, so you create a standalone Python web server if it can execute Python. Else you need to write your own little standalone web server using C programming, for example. I guess you could probably just go to Google and Google that. It would also be a great tool to have in your toolbox when you're gonna go ahead and serve a small file to your own machine. Well, that's really it for this video. So I really hope you learned something, you can use it, and gonna say see you again online. Have a really nice day.